The Honourable Member for Clark.
And he doesn't know.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to Minister for State Development, Construction and Housing. Minister, yesterday in this place I highlighted the litany of problems that have bedevilled the Macquarie Point Development and asked the Premier if he would commit to a full and transparent inquiry into the deficiencies at the site. He failed to acknowledge any problems at Mac Point and in fact proclaiming it was powering ahead. Extraordinary. Minister, are you aware that in 2019 the department was formally alerted to accusations of bullying, manipulation and emotional abuse by management towards staff? Are you aware of claims that procurement practices at the corporation are manipulated to favour some providers and circumvent Treasurer's instructions? Are you aware of allegations that staff have been pressured to use their personal relationships to unduly influence outcomes that favour the corporation? Enough is enough. The veil of secrecy must be lifted from the Macquarie Point Development Corporation. Minister, will you release the completed report into the latest bullying allegations prepared on behalf of the Department of State Growth? And will you, Minister, commit to a full, open and transparent inquiry into all the clear failings at Macquarie Point?
Honourable Minister for State Development, Construction and Housing.
Thanks very much, Mr Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for her question and her interest in this matter. And note, of course, it's in two parts, and the Premier responded yesterday, I thought, quite positively with respect to our master plan for Macquarie Point and our big plan. It's the master plan, which I have a copy of here. It's been available for some time. If anybody wants a copy, it's publicly available. It's on the website. And we're talking a very, very
don't know which one he's
major
referring to. There are many of them.
Mr Speaker. It's a once-in-the-lifetime opportunity. And in fact, I have been advised it's in fact one of the last remaining vacant urban infill locations in any of Australia's capital cities. This is an opportunity that we've got to grasp with both hands. And we're doing so, Mr Speaker, but I acknowledge that there's a lot more work to do. Mr Speaker, we've got 9.3... Mr Speaker, we've got 9.3 hectares. It's a huge parcel of land. It does need complex remediation and rehabilitation. It's a former industrial site, preparing for that development. There's removing of contaminated soils, Mr Speaker. It doesn't look exciting, Mr Speaker, in that regard, but of course there's more to do. So, Mr Speaker, in terms of the remediation that was underway and planning for long-term development, it has progressed. We're ensured that the site did not sit empty and could be used by the public. And, Mr Speaker, we're encouraged by the temporary uses of the Mona Dark Park, the Dark Mofo, the community garden, and of course the cycleway, car parking, knowing these would change when future developments occurred. Mr Speaker, I've mentioned the master plan, the importance of that. It's a long-term vision, and we're talking about a $1 billion investment, a potential $1 billion investment into the future, Mr Speaker, in the years ahead. We've got the escarpment development, the milieu undertaken by Milieu Proprietary Limited. The Premier mentioned this yesterday, a $100 million project, Mr Speaker, and we're advised, in fact I'm advised, that a development application will be lodged with the Hobart City Council later this year. We've got the $5 million goods shed. We've got sewer realignment across the site. We've tender currently in the market for that work. It's very, very good, Mr Speaker. There's a lot of work that has been done. There's commencement on the move of the wastewater treatment plan with Taswater, and of course planning for the Northern Transit Corridor is underway with stakeholders from the Department of State Growth, Tasports and of course the community. There will be more engagement with stakeholders and the community. Mr Speaker, I would like to address the workplace grievance matter that has been referred to by the Honourable Member. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge the question. I acknowledge the Premier's response yesterday was spot on, and of course we cannot in this place go into operational matters with respect to matters like that involving individual people, Mr Speaker. That would not be proper. But I can advise this place that I have met with the Chair, Brian Scallon. The Premier referred to Brian yesterday. He has very broad experience in this space. I've met with the Chair and he's managing the situation. He's managing that situation with the Department of State Growth, Mr Speaker. And I cannot go into the details because, in fact, some of those details I'm simply not aware, Mr Speaker. But what I can say, there is a process, and that process is important for appropriate outcomes for dealing with this matter in an appropriate and professional way, Mr Speaker. So that's very important to acknowledge. And with respect to the other parts of the question, I'm absolutely happy, as the Premier has indicated earlier in the Parliament today, more than happy to take those on notice and to respond as soon as possible, because some of those other queries and questions that you've raised are important, and I will certainly take that on and see what we can do to assist. Also noting that a lot of them are operational matters. Obviously, if they're operational, Mr Speaker, they're matters that the government can't get involved with, but in terms of looking into them and following up, I'm more than happy to do so.
Mr Speaker.
Good answer.
Honourable